Hello everyone, this is Nabarsha, Assistant Professor, Department of CSE, Engineering College Bikaner. Today we will see about the protocol architecture of TCP and and how the connections, how the data transmitted in TCP. What are the phases used in TCP for data transmission? So first of all, we will see what is the segment in TCP. What is the architecture of the segment in TCP? So this is the segment of TCP. The first field is header, then data. So in header we have source address, destination address, sequence number, acknowledgement number, header length, then 6 bits are reserved, then some flags are there, window size, checksum. For checksum is for error control, urgent pointer, and then options and padding bits. So we will see one by one. Okay, first of all, what is source port address? Basically port address is 16-bit address. So this source port address is 16-bit field that defines the port number of the application program in the host that is sending the segment. This serves the same purpose as the source port address of the UDP header. Okay, source port address is same for transport layer for either TCP or UDP. Next we have destination port address. Destination port address is a 16-bit field that defines the port number of the application program in the host that is receiving the segment. This serves the same purpose as the destination address of UDP header. Okay, then next we have sequence number. We have already seen about sequence numbering. Whenever a datagram comes, it has to divide into packets. So it depends upon the size of the router. Okay, so each packet has to give a sequence number. So that is the sequence number here. So this 32-bit field defines the number assigned to the first byte of the data contained in this segment. TCP is a stream transport protocol. So to ensure connectivity, each byte to be transmitted is numbered. So the sequence number tells the destination which byte in this sequence comprises the first byte in the segment. During connection establishment, each party uses a random number generator to create an initial sequence number. So in TCP, basically whenever we are transmitting the data, so each connection has some sequence number. So we will see it later. Next we have acknowledgement number. Acknowledgement number is a 32-bit field that defines the byte number that the receiver of the segment is expecting to receive from the other party. Basically it is the frame number or data frame number of the next frame. If the receiver of the segment has successfully received byte number X from the other party, so it defines X plus 1 as the acknowledgement number. Acknowledgement and data can be piggybacked together. We can send acknowledgement with data also. This is known as piggybacking. Next we have header length. Header length is a 4-bit field which indicates the number of 4-byte words in the TCP header. The length of the header can be between 20 and 60 bytes. Therefore, the value of this field can be between 5 and 15. So 5 into 4 is 20 and 15 into 4 is 60. Next we have reserved field. So this reserved field is a 6-bit field reserved, which is reserved for future. Next we have control. This field defines 6 different control bits or flags. One or more from these bits can be set at a time. So these are the control fields. Okay. Basically URG is for the value of the urgent pointer field is valid. Means if any data is urgent, so And this URG field is one, so that the receiver, or you can say the intermediate router, can immediately transfer the that particular data because it is urgent. Next is ACK. It has value 1 when the data we are transmitting is an acknowledgement. PSH is push the data. RST is for reset the connection. SYN is used for synchronize the sequence number during connection. FIN is used to terminate the connection. Okay, next we have window size. This field defines the size of the window in bytes that the other party must maintain. Length of the field is 16 bits, which means that the maximum size of the window is 65535 bytes. This value is normally referred to as the receiving window, and it is determined by the receiver. The sender must obey the dictation of the receiver in this case. Okay, next we have checksum field. The 16-bit field contains the checksum. The calculation of the checksum or TCP follows the same procedure as the one described for UDP. However, the inclusion of the checksum in the UDP datagram is optional, where the inclusion of the checksum in TCP is mandatory. The same pseudo header serving the same purpose. In UDP also we saw the pseudo header, so which it is added to the segment. For the TCP pseudo header, the value for the protocol field is 6. Okay, next we have urgent pointer. This is a 16-bit field which is valid only if the urgent flag is set. It is used when the segment contains urgent data. It defines the number that must be added to the sequence number to obtain the number of last urgent byte in the data section of the segment. Options: there can be 40 bytes of optional information in the TCP header. So okay, next we will see what is this was about protocol architecture of TCP. Okay, what are the fields, what are the description of the fields. Next we have TCP connection, how the TCP transfer the data, how the connection is established, how the connection is released. So basically TCP is connection oriented. A connection oriented transport protocol establishes a virtual path between source and destination. So all the segments belonging to a message are then sent over this virtual path only. No other path can be chosen because this path has already been decided by the source. So using a single virtual pathway for the entire message facilitate the acknowledgement process as well as retransmission of damaged or lost frames. Okay, we can if you are sending any data, then you will receive acknowledgement. If you are not received any acknowledgement, then you will again send the data. Like this it happens. So in TCP, connection oriented transmission requires 3 phases. Basically we have three-way handshaking in TCP protocol. First one is connection establishment, then data transfer, and the connection termination. So we will see this is the connection establishment phase of TCP protocol. See, this TCP transmit data in full duplex mode only. When two TCPs in two machines are connected, they are able to send segments to each other simultaneously. Okay, this implies that each party must initialize communication and should get approval from the other party before transferring the data. So before if let's suppose if A wants to send data to B, so A has to first take the permission of B to send the data, or A wants to receive some data from B, then also A has to take permission from B. So this is known as three-way handshaking. So this three-way handshaking is used in TCP protocol. So in three-way handshaking, basically the connection establishment is let's suppose we have a client. So client wants to make a connection with another application program which is known as server, okay, using a TCP. So this process starts with the server. So first of all, the server program tells its TCP that see, client and server both are communicating with their TCPs. So first of all, server has to tell the TCP of server has to tell this its own TCP that yes, I am available. So that means I am ready to accept a connection. So this is basically known as a passive open, that server is available. Okay, so whether a client which that wishes to connect to an open server, so it tells its TCP that it needs to be connected to that particular server. So client is in active open connection, active open phase. So TCP can now start the three-way handshaking process. Okay, we here we are using two timelines, one for sender and one for receiver, or one for client and one for server. Okay, so see here, the client sends the first segment, which is a SYN segment, in which only SYN flag is set. Okay, we have seen flags in TCP. These are the flags. So first of all, initially we are synchronizing the sequence number. So that's why in initial transmission, only SYN segment is set, SYN flag is set. This segment is basically used for synchronization of sequence numbers. It consumes one sequence number, and when the data transfer starts, the sequence number is incremented by 1. So we can say that the SYN segment carries no real data. Okay, but one imaginary byte we can assume, because it is consuming one sequence number. Okay, next the server send the second segment, which is SYN plus ACK segment. Okay, with two flag bits set. First one is SYN, and then the second one is ACK, because we have sequence number also and ACK also. So this segment has a dual purpose. It is a SYN segment for the for communicating in the other direction, and it also served as the acknowledgement for the SYN segment which has received by the receiver. So it also consumes only one sequence number. So the client again send the third segment. This is just an ACK segment. So what the client will do? It acknowledges the recipient of the second segment with the ACK flag and acknowledgement number field. So the sequence number in this segment is the same as the one received by the SYN segment. So the ACK segment does not consume any sequence number. So this is sequence number is same, 8000 and 8000, because we have to only give the acknowledgement to the server that yes, we have received your whatever you have sent. Okay, so this is how the connection is established between client and server using SYN and ACK. Okay, so next we will see how the data is transferred. See, after the connection is established, bidirectional data transfer can take place in TCP because it is full duplex transmission. The client and server can both send the data and the acknowledgements. Data traveling in the same direction as the acknowledgement are carried on the same segment. So this is basically known as piggybacking. We have already discussed. So in this particular example, after the connection is established, the client sends 2000 bytes of data in two segments. Okay, so the server then sends 2000 bytes in one segment. The client sends one more segment. Okay, so this is first 2000 bytes, then next server will send 2000 bytes like this. Okay, so the first three segment carries both the data and the acknowledgement, but if you see the last segment, so this last segment carries only the acknowledgement, because there is no more data to be sent. Okay, sender is finished with the data. So the values of the sequence acknowledgement numbers are like, see, sequence 8001, so ACK 15001. So this is nothing but the ACK of the previously received data. Okay, so we are transmitting 2000 bytes at a time. So we are transmitting 8001 to 9000. Then again we are transmitting 9001 to 10000. Okay, again, so this is the sequence number 8001. Then we have 9001. Okay, so we have transmitted here 10,000 bytes. So what receiver will send? Receiver will send AC key for 10,001, so that we can transfer the data from 10,001. This the AC key 10,001 means the receiver has successfully received data before this particular byte. That means receiver has received up to 10,000. Okay. So this is how the data is transferred in TCP using SYN and ACK. Okay. So next we will see how we can terminate the connection. See this, we have seen the three-way handshaking in connection establishment phase of TCP. Again, in connection in termination also three-way handshaking is used. Any of the two parties involved in exchanging data can close the connection, although it is usually initiated by client only. So most implementations today allow two options for connection termination: three-way handshaking and also four-way handshaking, but we will only go for three-way handshaking. So see, in a normal situation, the client TCP, after receiving a close command from the client process, sends the first segment, that is a FIN segment, in which the FIN flag is set. We have seen a FIN flag there. FIN means finished. So the FIN flag is set here. So FIN segment can include the last chunk of data sent by the client, or it can be just a control segment. If it is only a control segment, then it consumes only one sequence number. Okay. So see here, client is sending FIN. So this F is set. Okay, the server will see that is client wants to finish the connection. So what server will do? Server has to transmit the finish, means acknowledgement of the previous finish and its own finish also. So the TCP server, after receiving the FIN segment, informs its process of the situation and sends the second segment, which is a FIN plus ACK segment, to confirm the recipient of the FIN segment from the client, and at the same time to announce the closing of the connection in the other direction. This segment can also contain the last chunk of data from the server, and if it does not carry data, then it also consumes only one sequence number. Okay, along with these things we can also transfer data. The client TCP again send the last segment, which is an ACK segment, to confirm the recipient of the FIN segment from the TCP server. So this segment contains the acknowledgement number, which is 1 plus to the sequence number received in the FIN segment from the server. So this segment cannot carry any data, and it also not consume any sequence number, because we have already sent the data in this FIN segment. This is just an acknowledgement of the FIN of the server. Okay, so thank you so much.